So parts are wholes that just don't know it yet. What do I mean by that? Well, one way to look at it would be um, perhaps a metaphor, which may not even be a metaphor, but we'll start that way. Which is that if we consider ourselves to be interested in some kind of psycho-spiritual development, some kind of spiritual journey, then we likely have the desire, say, to commune with, be included in, um, recognize a greater whole, say, or a greater principle than the one we're currently experiencing, something like that. So essentially, we're seeking inclusion in a larger whole. And there are times we have tastes and some access to that larger whole. And there are times we feel alienated from it. But even the alienation is an indication that we are sort of intuiting, at least, that there's something more free, whole, loving, complete than who we think ourselves to be. Now, if we were to metaphorically take the perspective of the more whole that we're looking to become, and just took the view that that sort of God, you know, was looking down at us, sort of giggling, saying, "You're already included. You know, there's absolutely nothing you need to be uh, doing because you're already included. You've just forgotten." And that's our perspective often, is that we've forgotten our place as whole within a larger whole. Now, our parts, the aspects of our relative self that are seeking inclusion, are operating quite the same way. Imagine them, um, the part of us that wants to succeed, the part of us that wants to eat less, the part of us that wants love, the part of us that's a wounded child, you know, the multiplicity of what we would call our ego, right? If we could look at it that way, that we as an individual self are sort of looking down on our parts in some way and going, "You're already included. You just don't know it yet." This is exactly what I mean by the parts themselves have an intelligence. They're looking up, in this case, for you. And the embrace that's already occurring with those parts is, well, already occurring. And we're just maybe needing practice to remember that. So I'll give a simple example. I was talking to someone recently, and they were reporting that they had had a tough couple of days and that they were noticing they were running around the house kind of neurotically cleaning. And they then clearly had a judgment of that using the term neurotic. And he said, "I think I was just trying to control everything." Now, if we take our view here, you know, I'm going to use the word God, that God is already looking down on us, going, "You're already whole," then we, in a sense, are the God of our parts. So I would suggest, how would we look at a neurotic cleaning part from the perspective of God? Well, we'd be curious, we'd be compassionate, we'd want to know more about it, we'd want to understand how foolish it was in thinking that it wasn't whole. And so we started a little conversation with the quote unquote neurotic part. And I asked the person, would you ask the part, you know, if it could fully be neurotic, like fully run around like a Tasmanian devil around the house, trying to control everything, in your words, what would it experience if it could really, really do that to its own satisfaction? And he started to look at the part, and he very quickly started to see that if everything got done on this from this part's list, or this part was fully able to control the entirety of the universe, it would experience a kind of ease, actually. It could finally relax. So on the other side of, what we would call a controlling part is complete ease in this case. It's the same part. It's just a difference of perspective. If we're looking at the part from a perspective of another part, in other words, our judge, then what we're going to get is a kind of civil war between parts. No, I'm not trying to control. Yes, you are. You're not controlling enough. You should control more. You don't have it together. Versus looking at it from a perspective of wholeness, interest, curiosity. What's the context and the worldview of this part? Oh, if I got it all done, I would finally relax. Even if there's more to do in working with and integrating this part, at least now we know this part is on our team. It's already included in our larger wholeness. So our parts are whole. Ease is a quality of wholeness. It's not a quality of neurosis. And yet it's the same part. So how we look at the part is maybe even more important than the part or the problem we're working on.